Hello! How's everyone doing? You are here early. We're going to be starting the class right at the top of the hour, wherever you are. Some of you are in India. Some of you are in... Where else are you watching from? Let me know. One person said India, but I don't know where everyone else is. Someone said it's 3 a.m. in India. That is very early. You should probably be sleeping. I don't know if you need to be studying Korean at 3 in the morning, but don't let me tell you what to do. I'm not your dad. Let's grab my grab all of your comments here so I can read along, see how everyone's doing. Where is everyone from? Where are you watching from today? See if I can get this out here a little bit more. I was recording a secret project with this before, so I have to readjust my microphone, but it's a secret. I can't tell you what the project is yet, but I will tell you in probably a couple weeks. But in the meantime, I do have another project I'm going to be announcing to you before we start the class today. So yeah, first let me know where you're watching from, and then we have a few announcements, a few fun things we're going to be doing today. We've got a great lesson coming up today, although all of my lessons are great, really, if I'm being honest. But today it's especially great. Korea! Liliet is watching from Korea, they say. Berkshire in the UK. I had my lunch today was fish and chips. Or fish and chips, as we call it in the US. But yeah, it was, I made it myself. I had some frozen fries, some frozen fish. I put them both in the air fryer, and I think it was there for like 15 minutes, and then took it out and just ate it with some malt vinegar and ketchup. It was pretty good. And I made my kid, I made him lunch. That was not fish and chips. He got something better. Made him like a nice sandwich and fruits and vegetables, and it's all healthy and good. And then I had frozen food. That's usually how it works. Slovakia, almost 11 p.m. That's the country that the Avengers saved, I believe. I keep forgetting where it is, but I know it's a real country. North Carolina, LA. Do you mean Los Angeles or Louisiana? Both are cool. Although Louisiana is kind of hot in the summer. I know it's like really humid there, I hear. Great food though. Arkansas, Texas, the one state I've never been to. Although I haven't been to like 48 of them, but still that's one of them. One of the states that I've never been to. Sydney, Australia. Nice. Someone said hello, and then they put a flag, but it doesn't show on my device, so it just says PT. Party? I don't know what country that is. England. Hello, Governor. Great Britain. I know you don't say that in England. Don't get on me for that. I know you actually don't talk like that, but I honestly wish you did. Because it's great. Just sounds so friendly. Florida. I'm sorry to hear about that. Iraq. Nice. Another Texas. East Tennessee. Wow, that's specific. As opposed to north, south, or west. Okay. Ghana. Nice. There's a chocolate. Ghana chocolate. And I know Korea has it. It's okay. Nepal. Nice. I once knew a guy from Nepal. Super nice guy. But the food he made tasted good, but burned my eyes like crazy. I don't know what it is that they put in the food. It's like it's like tear gas, but the food tasted really good. Super nice guy. South Texas, Canada, Spain. Okay, I got to go through these a little faster so we don't spend all our time just reading where everyone's from. Washington State, Philippines. I love malt vinegar. Okay, that's not where you're from. Aniki. Hey, Aniki, welcome. 안녕하세요. Aniki's name is in green. That signifies he is one of the members of my channel. He gets some special benefits. I have some more benefits I'm going to be announcing in a couple weeks when I let everyone know about a new project I've been working on. But Aniki probably already knows that, as well as anyone in my Discord who's a member already knows what's going on. But I'll be announcing something else in a couple weeks. I have something to announce today, though, which I'll announce soon. But there's another thing on top of that, which I will announce in a couple weeks. But Aniki might already know. Indonesia, Mexico, Nigeria, Portugal, Canada, Los Angeles. Okay, so it was LA. Puerto Rico. Which is, I know it's also part of the US, but I like to pretend it's an exotic country. Portugal, San Francisco, Los Angeles, Canada, California. I'm not sure. I think that's what you mean. Okay. Las Vegas, the UK. How many soju did Billy go ingest before the beginning of the string? I don't drink really very much. Very rarely. Maybe once a year. If I'm being honest, once a year, maybe twice a year, I'll have like one glass of something. I can't handle much soju. I'm very weak. Not that I can't. It doesn't taste good. I don't have an urge for it, so I don't. But I do have some. It's kind of like caffeinated drink. It's not high caffeinated though. If you're wondering, it's not like a Monster drink or anything. I think it's like 60 milligrams of caffeine, but that's enough. But I don't blame this for what's going on right now. I'm just really excited about the lesson today. Flight Deck says Germany. The Germans. I love the German accent. Maybe because I've been playing a bit too much Team Fortress 2, but I just can't get enough of that German accent. Denmark, I think that's what DE is for, right? April Holloway says, you've helped me a lot and encouraged me to keep learning Korean. Awesome. Check your spelling for piting, but I mean, I know that's what it was supposed to be, but pa-i-ting. So it would be 3 separate syllables for that. Jade says, France. Oh, salut, coucou. Enchanté, je suis Billy. What was teach? Oh, I forgot the verb for to teach. What is to teach in French? I swear I'd studied French for like 5.5 years or maybe almost 6 years total between high school and then a little bit in college. I mean, I say study, like I took the classes, I passed, but I did not learn anything. But I can't remember the verb for to teach in French. It was something really simple. Like, it wasn't instructer or something dumb like that. It was something like, anyway, enseigner, was it that? Okay. Maybe that's why I never learned it, because I never taught anything. Je ne peux pas parler français. That's pretty much, that gives you all you need to know. Okay. Let's see. We got Oklahoma, Trinidad, Iran. Wow. I once saw a video of some guy like going through, I think it was Iran. He was like just driving like a motorcycle and like talking to locals and stuff. I just remember it was a very memorable video. It seems like a cool place. Lots of cool places I would love to visit, but I just can't for many reasons. Aniki says the invisible straw was, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, because I found out that if you just put a drink close to your mouth and you suck really hard, it'll kind of fly into your mouth. So that's kind of what I've been doing with my, I have an invisible straw here. I can see it though. So. Another one from Texas. San Fernando, you say? Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, LA and Cali, that makes more sense. Because CA is also Canada and LA is also Louisiana. So I was kind of getting confused. I mean, I'm also from LA, so I'm just kind of dumb, okay? Hello from Turkey, or Turkey, I guess it changed. Hi from California, from Utah. It is probably very cold there right now. Nigeria. Oh, teach, apprendre. No, apprendre is learn, right? J'apprends I would say le français. C'est inconceivable. Wait, no. Impossible, I think that's the word. Not inconceivable, but it is also inconceivable. Michigan. One of these days, someday, I'll make enough money from my Korean teaching that I will take an actual vacation to somewhere outside of just going to Korea to film my videos. Someday I'll have enough money to do a real vacation, because I honestly have not actually taken a vacation like what everyone knows, where you go somewhere for a week to just relax. I haven't taken a vacation like that since 2009. That was before I got married. I went to Korea and Japan together with my mom for like 10 days, I think, total for both the countries for everything. It was like 7 days in Japan and 3 days in Korea. And that was great. That was like just traveling somewhere for an extended period of time just to relax. The last time I did a vacation was then, 2009. I have gone to Korea though a lot, so I can't really complain. I can't say like, poor me, I never get to go anywhere or do anything. Oh, and I do sometimes go up to Las Vegas, which is just a 4-hour drive. And, Las Vegas is actually pretty cheap if you don't go to the casinos. And you just stick around you just go up there, you get some food, you look around a bit, you come back, you can do a whole trip. Me and my wife and my kid, we can go there for like, I think like $400 for like a weekend. Like I've done that maybe once every 2 years. But yeah, I do get to go to Korea every single year for an extended period of time, but I don't really consider it in my mind as a vacation because I'm still filming videos, meeting people for collabs, doing work. But yeah, it's close enough. But one day I'll take a vacation and go to France, which is where I was trying to get to with this whole long spiel. I'll get to France someday, and before I go, I'm gonna definitely relearn all the French, as well as how to pronounce France, all of the French that I didn't actually learn throughout high school and college. I'm gonna get conversational at French. That's what I'm gonna do someday. Michigan, Germany, another Turkey, Sacramento, Argentina, nice. Carl says, you did squats? Chong. So just change the spelling. Pigone, oh, you did 1,000 squats? That's ridiculous. I don't think I could do 10. In fact, if I did squats instead of dabs, when people donated, I would be dead. Or I would be like Swole Billy, right? Learn Korean with Billy Swole. Something that maybe that would be what happens eventually. But I don't think right now I could do more than like 10. I don't actually even know how to do them properly either. So Albuquerque, the permanent location of Bugs Bunny is Albuquerque. That's literally all I know about Albuquerque is that's where Bugs Bunny ended up. Because I used to watch the original Looney Tunes sometimes as a kid. Pretty funny. Still holds up. The animation's a bit old now, but still it was pretty funny for most of it. India, Jama. Oh, Jamaica. I was like, Jama. Wow. That's exotic. I've never even heard of Jama. Jamaica, I see. 한국에서 잘 보고 있어요. Oh, welcome. Yeah, Jacob, Jeremy wasn't even a thought yet. That's right. Yeah. In 2009, I had, I didn't have any serious, no, I wasn't even, I didn't have a serious girlfriend at that time either. It was just like the perfect time when my mom was like, I want to go visit my friend in Japan. And I was like, oh, it'd be great to do that. I'd love to get to Japan again because I hadn't been at that point since 2005 when I had taken a trip there before by myself. 2009. So we're like, you know what? She's got time. I've got time. Let's just do it. And we did a cool trip to Japan and Korea. That was great. And that was like what I would call actual a vacation, not going for anything other than to just enjoy the trip. But yeah, every time I go to Korea, it's great. But I've never thought of it as like, oh, it's a vacation. I get to go to Korea for vacation. I've never had that feeling of going to Korea just for a vacation. I don't think I ever had, except that was the only time. Yeah, that was the only time I went to Korea where I was like, oh, it's a vacation. Every other time has been for this YouTube channel. So yeah, I feel like Korea is like my second home, not a travel spot. Whenever I go there, I don't feel like I'm on a vacation or like I'm traveling. It always feels like, oh, here's the place that I left. Oh, it's still doing okay. All right. Like that. Morocco and another from the UK. What if it was to Jeju? I did go on a trip to Jeju. Last time I went there was like, I don't know, maybe 2012 or something. I went there for a few days. I guess that's technically a vacation because I wasn't doing YouTube then, or maybe I just started or I hadn't been doing it. But anyway, yeah, that was like a few days. So I have taken several like few day vacation, like weekend sort of vacations. Like I'll say like once every 2 years, it'll be maybe just driving up to Vegas or something like that. But yeah, nothing really extended. If I were to go to Europe, if I were to visit France, I'm not going to go to France for a weekend. Obviously, I would go for like 2 weeks, something like that, 2-3 weeks. Go France, eat the food, ignore literally everything else. But I really want to try that food. And I'm not going to be an obnoxious tourist. I'm going to speak French. I will try. As I know, are you teaching Yiddish now? I guess technically, yes, because I grew up. I'm not Jewish, but my mother's side has Jewish lineage, and so she sometimes and which like the New York side. So she sometimes would use those sort of words to me. So I know a lot. I just only use the really common words, like something to nosh or like that sort of general. I can't really think of words right now, but there are a lot of like general Yiddish words that we use in English too. Have you been to Coron, Palawan, Philippines? I've never been to the Philippines. I want to go to the Philippines someday, but not for the touristy stuff. I just want to go because there's like a nice buffet there I saw in a YouTube video once that's like $50 for all you can eat lobster. And they have like a cheese room. And maybe if you're from the Philippines, you know what I'm talking about. I think it's in Manila. I just want to go to the buffet. But a $2,000 plane ticket and a week-long trip and with hotels to go to a buffet once is not very good reason to go to the Philippines. So I have to figure out what other stuff would I do when I'm there. Maybe there's another buffet I can go to. Can you tell I just like food? I go to France, they're like, oh, what are you going to see? L'Arc de Triomphe. I can't even remember the word for Eiffel Tower in French. It's like, all this or go see this. I'm like, I just want the French food, okay? I just want the cuisine. I just want the French cuisine. That's all. You can keep everything else. Like, I don't care. Not that I don't care, but I don't care. I just want the food. There's amazing food all over the world, and I have yet to go and try so much of it. Turkey, for example, some people are saying they're watching from Turkey. Turkey has so much incredible like food. I seriously had no clue until like maybe 5 or 6 years ago. Maybe 8 years ago is when I found out about like Turkey has so much good looking food. I'm like, all this delicious food and I can't get it in the US? What is this torture? Like I can find some stuff of it in the US, but it's always like different. It's like a weakened, like a loser version of it, kind of like not the real deal. So yeah, France too. I want to get some like legit French bread. Like in France, I want to carry a baguette down the street and like assault someone with it. Like I want the full French experience, but I can't get that here. If I carry a baguette down the street in LA, people are gonna think I'm crazy. Triga says, what's your favorite French food? Oh, that's pretty easy. If it's made properly, escargot is actually legit. I love escargot. My mom, every year for New Year's, she stopped doing this though, like maybe a decade ago when everyone moved out of the house. But she would, for New Year's, every single year she made escargot. And she made it with she has like actual legitimate French recipe. She's pretty good actually at cooking stuff. So she'd make it really good, like the French style escargot and everything with all of like, the butter and the garlic and everything. Oh, fantastic. But obviously I'm not going to eat a full meal of escargot and they're quite expensive. Besides that, I really like a lot of the like the cheese. Like they have lots of dishes with cheese and butter. I guess that's one way to put it. And then cordon bleu, obviously, that's another good one. That's one that I can also make as well, but it takes a long time to make, so I don't. Crème brûlée is like the best dessert. Fight me. Okay, I'm wasting too much time talking about food and stuff. We haven't even started the lesson. We'll get started at the top of the hour. Remember, you're all here early. You're trapped with me here until the lesson starts. Yeah, I'm a gastronome. Yeah. Yeah, that's correct. I guess that's what you'd call a foodie. I've been scanning a Korean print of Neverending Story. Oh, wow. That movie haunted me as a child. It's so creepy. Sending that to Papa Go Study Notes. Curious if there's a Korean book you highly recommend scanning. Gosh, I don't read enough Korean books. So, like the Korean stuff I read is like most of the Korean stuff that I read is going to be like official not blog posts, but official posts about the Korean language. Like the dictionary, I read the dictionary all the time. And I have a Korean dictionary as well in paper, but I read it online. Blog posts about Korean grammar, stuff like that is what I read the most. News articles. I don't read much fiction in Korean. I have like some comic books, but I haven't really read through them very much. So I don't know. Yeah, Never Ending Story, but it does have a legit theme song, which I have in my MP3 player, I believe. Never Ending Story. That movie is creepy. Like there are several, like there was a theme of movies in the 80s to give kids nightmares, I swear. That movie was that the number? Yeah, I'd say that was the number one movie that was creepy that kids would all like to watch, was Never Ending Story. There are a lot of others at the time that are actually not that creepy. Like Labyrinth was another one of my favorites. I liked it though. It was dark, but I wasn't creepy for most of it. Some parts of it were a little bit creepy, but generally it's like just kind of dark and playful. Great movie, Labyrinth. But then there are some other ones that are just like dark and not playful, like Never Ending Story. You watch that movie and you're like, what's going on? Like, save me. Why am I watching this? But it's not a bad movie. It's just, I'm trying to think like what was really memorable from that movie that I liked. Obviously the whole movie's memorable. Like, what did I actually like? I mean, I liked the dog dragon, which was great, but like Atreyu is like traumatizing as a kid to watch. I won't spoil anything about that, but, or maybe I already spoiled it. If you watch it now, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Anyway, moving on. I have an announcement to make and I only have 2 minutes left. So I have an announcement to make. Okay. You probably remember a few weeks ago, early last month, I announced a new book called Korean Reading Made Simple 2. And I was actually working on 2 books at the same time. So as soon as I finished that, I began formatting this book, which is now released as of just last week. So people on Discord already know about this, but everyone else does not yet. It is called Korean Conversation Made Simple. I'm really leaning into the Korean Made Simple sort of naming scheme. I kind of like it. But anyway, Korean Conversation Made Simple is exactly what you imagine it would be. It is. I got to switch to my other copy, which is not the final version, but this one I can like open and show you. The other one is a little bit nicer. It is 25 completely natural Korean conversations. By natural, I don't mean that it's all casual. It's a variety of types of conversations in realistic situations, but the conversations are what a native Korean would actually say. So I didn't filter it. It's actually the full conversation that includes things like slang, incorrect Korean, but they use it anyway. Misusage, actually that is the same for incorrect. Conversational only grammar forms. So things that you will not learn in a book because they're not used officially in Korean, but they're very common in spoken Korean. So informal grammar forms, slang on occasion, not swear words, but there are a couple things that are like, yeah, you could get in trouble if you use them to people, but they're still in here too, because like I said, they're real conversations. And every single sentence, so just like Korean Reading Made Simple, every single sentence is explained in detail. For example, let's see if I can find an example. Like some of the stuff here is legitimately advanced level because it's, like I said, native. But everything's broken down, so even if there's something that's really complicated, like a long form that's been shortened from something else, there will still be line-by-line explanations of where it comes from. There are a few parts where like it'll be one form that's 3 forms stuck together, and it'll explain one of those. It'll explain that each one section at a time. But yeah, just came out last week. Korean Conversation, not this cover. Here, this is my cover model. The other one's for the inside. Korean Conversation Made Simple just came out last week. You can find a link to it in my website. You can get it on Amazon, Kindle. It's in PDF and ebook on my website as well. Check it out. There are also full audio files for all 25 conversations in the book. And the book has over 1,000 vocabulary words and grammar forms that are taught in addition to what it assumes you probably already know. So this is not for new beginners. This is for, this would be perfect if you've just finished the beginner course on YouTube though. So it's not that you have to be advanced to use it. You would have to at least know the concepts that are taught in the beginner Korean course though to use it, because this assumes you know the word like sagwa for apple. It assumes you know how to conjugate verbs, but it doesn't assume that you know a lot of the other grammar forms yet. So yeah, check it out. Woo! Okay. That's the end of the advertisement. And now we will start with the lesson. Let me just check here. Is there an audio file? Yes. There are audio files for everything, every conversation recorded by natives. Okay. So we're going to be learning about humble speech today. In order to learn about it though, first you want to know how to use the 주다 conjugation. So like 해주다, like 내가 해줄게, like I'll do it for you. This sort of conjugated verb with 주다. You want to know this because we're going to be using one of the things that we're using today is the same form, just with a different verb. So you want to be familiar with this. If you don't, you can still follow along. You'll just miss out on that one part. Okay. Humble speech in Korean is known as 낮춤말. 낮추다 is a causative verb. It means to make something low, to lower something. And 말, meaning words. So literally words that are lowering. So lowered words. Honorific speech, as we learned before, shows extra respect towards someone who you're talking about. So someone else. And it shows that extra respect, honorific speech, not humble speech, by elevating the other person, metaphorically. So when you use honorific speech, it's like saying, I respect this person. I'm looking up to them. Someone else who I'm talking about, not myself, right? Humble speech, however, does the exact same thing as honorific speech, but in a different way. So you can think of both honorific speech and humble speech as words that are used to make someone else extra respectful, to show that you respect or look up to someone else. But the way they do it is different. And honorific speech, which we already learned, does it by elevating the other person that you're talking about, metaphorically. Humble speech, though, however, does it by, instead of elevating the other person, it does it by actually lowering the speaker. It's by making the speaker lower that it makes the other person higher. But the end result is the same, right? If I lower myself, metaphorically, the person I'm talking to is getting higher. Or when I use honorific speech, I'm staying where I am, but I'm making the other person higher. So they both do the same thing, just different ways, right? Okay. And just like honorific speech, humble speech has this feeling. This is something I might want you to write down. I want to express that I respect or look up to this person. So that's what honorific speech conveys. And that's also what humble speech conveys. So I want you to think of them as kind of interlinked. They both do the same thing, and they are both used together. We'll talk about that. So who do you use humble speech to? Well, just like honorific speech, you're going to be using humble speech, and we'll talk about what it is, to teachers, your bosses, your coworkers, if you're not really close with them, leaders, or anyone that's in a higher rank than you. You're also going to use humble speech to your grandparents, right? Especially other people's grandparents, other people's parents and family members, and possibly your own parents, but that depends on how you speak with your own parents, just like with honorific speech. Not everyone speaks formally to their parents or politely to their parents. That depends on a person by person basis. But if you do that, then you would also use humble speech to them. And especially strangers. So anyone who you're not close with, you're going to want to use humble speech to them to show that you are respecting them, right? But you're not doing it by raising them up. You're doing it by lowering yourself down. Okay. 1 second. Let me check here. Okay. Moving on. So, humble speech is often used together with honorific speech, as I said, since they serve the same purpose. But the way it works is a little different, and it's not going to overlap with the same things. So you don't have to forget anything you learned about honorific speech. All of that is still applicable. You're just going to add in a couple extra things. And using humble speech actually includes using unique verbs as well as using unique nouns, just like honorific speech. Although, unlike honorific speech, you don't have to learn unique particles, and there isn't a unique verb ending for humble speech. So humble speech is actually simpler. So it's actually simpler than honorific speech. Okay. Let me just take a 30-second break. I don't want to go too fast, so I'm going to take a 30-second break. If you have any questions, now is the time to ask. April says, is there a major difference between them? Can they be used interchangeably? They're used together because, like I said, they're different pieces. You can have a sentence with honorifics and you can add in humble speech because there's only a little bit to add in. We'll talk about it. Don't worry about it. You'll get it. It doesn't cross over. Like, you don't have to use them. The rules don't go together. Like, you don't have to think, oh, well, this rule with this and this, like that. They're separate, but I almost said separate, but that's terrible. Sorry. They're different concepts, but they work together. Okay, any questions? 30 seconds-ish, and then we'll continue with the lesson. I don't want to go too fast. Take a sip from my invisible drink. It's so sour. Okay. So I need to warn you that to really understand humble speech, we're going to have to learn a lot, and I mean a lot of different things. So I prepared a guide to help us through the most complicated details of humble speech. First, we're going to have to learn about humble verbs. So the first humble verb we have to learn about is the verb, I don't know how well you can see it. maybe I'll write it a little better. Just in case. The first verb we have to learn about is 들이다. 들이다 is a humble verb. And what does it mean? Well, it actually means the exact same thing as 주다, meaning to give. So, if you use 주다 to someone, 내가 줄게요. 누가 줬어요? Who gave it? You know, I'll give it to you. Anything like that. 주고 싶어요. I want to give this to you. All you do is you swap it with 들이다. Now, 들이다 is not the same feeling as 주다, but it has the same meaning. So instead of saying 주고 싶어요, I want to give it to you, now you can say 드리고 싶어요. Now you have a humble verb. So 들이다 sounds like you are lowering yourself, like you're kneeling down and offering something up to someone else. So it shows them extra respect. You're not just giving it to them. You're giving it to them with 들이다. Okay. We'll go into more detail in a second, but first we have to cover this. I'm sure there's a lot in here we have to go over. Next, I should write this better. It's so thin. Okay, next is the verb pueda. O-E. Notice how it's spelled. pueda. You also might see it as pepta, which is the same thing, just with another P up at the bottom. They both conjugate the same way. Pueda is another honorific verb you have to learn. And that means puda. Can you see it? Yeah. Puda means to see. Or it could be to meet someone. Like if you say, 내일 봐요, 내일 봐, 그럼 다음에 또 봐. It's not literally like, it's not actually I will see you again, but it's also like I'll meet you again. It's both. So instead of saying that you want to see someone, you're saying pueda instead of puda. And it has the same meaning, but now this is humble. So it's like you're lowering yourself and looking up at the person to be humble. When you say that you want to see them, 뵙고 싶어요 instead of 보고 싶어요. 보고 싶어요 is just like, oh, I want to see you. I miss you. 뵙고 싶어요 is I want to meet you. I would like to see you. That sort of meaning. Okay. Hope you're doing okay. We have to move on. There's still so much more stuff to cover. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I think that's... I don't think we need this anymore, actually. I don't think this is helping. Okay, so let me give you a little bit more detail. Okay, the first one that we're learning again is 주다. And I said that the humble version of 주다 is 드리다. You can swap these one for one in any sentence, and now you have humble speech. So humble speech again, the speaker is lowering themselves, making themselves humble, you might say, towards someone you're talking to or talking about. So picture 드리다 as a person kneeling down and offering up something to someone with both hands. And 주다 is simply giving it to someone like normal. So you would use 드리다 again to teachers, bosses, coworkers, maybe, leaders, anyone of a higher rank, grandparents, other people's family members, perhaps your own parents, strangers, or acquaintances if you don't know them very well. So anytime you're going to be giving something to someone, you want to be a little extra polite, right? So you give it to them with both hands and you're like, oh, here you go, instead of like yeeting it at their face, right? That's the feeling that 드리다 has. So I'm going to give you a few sentences with 드리다. Actually, the first one, I want you to make this. I have confidence that you can make this. I'm going to start the sentence, and I want you to finish it. Oh, what's that? Wait, hold on. Let me rewrite this so it's neater, because I took up too much space and you can't see it. Okay. Notice this. 게. This was from our honorific stream. Remember, honorific shows respect by elevating someone you're talking about. So this means 에게, to. 게 is the honorific particle for 에게, to a person. So 선생님께, so to the teacher. So just by using this, we already know that it's going to show extra respect to the teacher. But you also are going to want to use together with honorific speech to actually, whenever you're using the verb 주다, to actually show that you really want to be polite, you also want to match that with your humble speech. So how do you say, I want, or if you want to be fancy, I wanted to give it to the teacher. If you want to be really fancy, you can say, I wanted to give the present, or I wanted to give an apple, or I wanted to give money, or I wanted to give anything to the teacher. So I want you to make this sentence. If you can't make it, don't worry. I'm going to give it to you so you can write it down. And I want you to use the verb 드리다. The president. Yeah, definitely. But that fits into the fact that they're strangers. So anyone who you're not close with, but maybe you know them, but you're not close with, that also is included. It doesn't have to be like, you know, the supreme leader of the universe or something like that. It could just literally be a stranger you pass on the street. Okay. Let's see who was first. I believe Aniki gave it the first attempt. Perfect. Aniki, Traga as well. Perfect. Lexica. Perfect. Hopegate. Perfect. Let's see what else everyone else has. 선물 드리고 싶었습니다. Nice Alien and Area KM as well. Nice. Okay, go ahead and give it a try. So I wanted to give it to the teacher. You can add in a different noun. I wanted to give something to the teacher. If you can't, you can just say, I want to give it to the teacher with 드리다, which is also fine. April Holloway, you would want to use the 고 싶다 form, which could be 고 싶어요 or 고 싶었어요, past tense, wanted to, or 싶습니다 or 싶어, or anything like that. 싶은데요, like there are lots of endings you can use for that. Nice. Melinda Uber as well. Yeah, and if you write any sentences during the sentence correcting time, you get I'll look them all over. But I'm just going to wait another 10 seconds. It's really short, and then we're going to go to the next sentence. Okay. Oops, why am I writing in a different color? That's just confusing. Let's see. Chienyilu, I can't read your name. Eggbm, okay. It's like 물을 드리고 싶어요. Okay, nice. I want to give some water to the teacher. Perfect. Okay. 선생님께 드리고 싶었어요. 드리고 싶었어요. So I wanted to give it, whatever it is, to 에게. This is the honorific version of 에게. To the teacher. So I wanted to give it to the teacher. 선생님께 드리고 싶었어요. Just saying 선생님께 주고 싶었어요 sounds a bit lacking because you're saying 선생님께, which is like really elevating the teacher, like saying when they hear 게, they're going to know, oh, you really respect or look up to this teacher, which you would. But then if you don't finish it with 드리다, if you use 주다 instead, it sounds like you're still just giving it to the teacher normally. Now, note, again, this is the speaker expressing this. Same with honorific speech. This is the speaker expressing that they look up to or respect the person. You would not say someone else gave a gift to the teacher like this. Like you wouldn't say, my friend 선생님께 선물 드렸어요. Like my friend gave a present to the teacher. Unless your friend is like a lower rank than you, like it could be used for your kid. Like if your kid gave up, a present to the teacher, then you could say, yeah, the kid gave it with 드리다. But other people, you can't express this. You can't make them be lower than the person that you're talking about. So this is really just going to most of the time be used for talking about yourself. Again, there are cases where, parents might tell their kid to 드려, give it to someone of higher rank than the other person. But other than that, you're not going to be using this for talking about other people's actions. It's for the speaker to express that. Because when you use this, it expresses, I consider that the person doing the action is lower than the person who's receiving the action with 드리다. So just keep that in mind. Next sentence, I also want you to make. I want to help. Now, 드리다 is used in every sentence where you would use 주다, in every way. The normal verb for to help, well, one of them is 도와주다. So I want you to say this humbly. I want you to show extra respect to the person that you're trying to help. I want you to make the sentence, I want to help. I'm just giving you this to start. You'll have to figure it out. If you can deduce what to do here. If you can't, well, okay. 도와드리고 싶어요. Perfect, Traga. Perfect. Oh, yeah, Aniki, that's a horrible ending. Never use that again. But your sentence otherwise is perfect. 도와드리고 싶어요. Perfect, Lexica. Perfect, Hopegate. Perfect, Maria. Oh, Maria, though, you do not need a space because 도와주다 is actually, it's commonly written as just one word. Although it originally did come from a common, 돕다, which is another verb for to help, and 주다, the ending, but it's used so commonly as one word. So there are lots of things like that which are used so commonly with their auxiliary verb, like 주다 or 보다, that they're used as one word. So you wouldn't want to space this as well. It's just 도와드리다 as one word. Hey, yeah, Muku. I always forget how to read it. Hey, it's been a while, hasn't it? Couldn't really join much lately. Yeah, I miss seeing you. Glad you're still doing this. Keep up the good work. All the best. Thank you, Muku. But I'm still going to sometimes think of your name as Moka because that's how it's spelled in English. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 dabs as a thank you to Muku for your beautiful donation. Let's see what other sentences we got. Aneki, it is 씁니다, but it's a cutesy form of 씁니다 for someone that wants to speak formally in a cute way, like they're flirting almost, or they're not serious about being formal, like they're goofily being formal. Then it would be used in that situation. But it's just a bit cringy. I'm sorry. I'm not. It's hard for me to use that kind of writing just because it could come across as insincere if it's not used to friends, in which case it's totally fine. You can use anything you want to friends. It's not wrong. Okay, let's see some other sentences we have. Oh, Ronnie added 책. Okay, 책을 드리고 싶어요. I want to give a book to the teacher. Very nice. 드렸어요, 드렸습니다, 드렸거든요, 드렸나 봐요, 드렸을 거예요. Yeah. Those are all correct endings. Just careful the spelling, but yes, that is those are all common endings for it. 도와드리고 싶어요. Okay. So, you're correct that this becomes 도와드리다. So instead of 도와주고 싶어요, I want to help. Now you have 도와드리고 싶어요. 도와드리다 is the humble version of 도와주다. Now, you don't have to go out and memorize a bunch of humble versions of regular verbs. There aren't that many. As I showed you, there are 2 main ones. But since 드리다 does replace 주다 in all cases, any verb that has 주다 in it already, you can replace with 드리다. So, 도와드리고 싶어요. I want to. 도와드리고 싶어요 is therefore I want to help. Same meaning as 도와주고 싶어요. But now it has the feeling of you're lowering yourself and offering your help. How am I on time? Always horrible on time, but it's okay. Okay, I'm going to give you one more sentence, and then I'm going to ask you to make the last sentence. This one I'm just going to give you because it's short. 이것도... Oh, and if you ever feel like there aren't enough sentences in your live streams, Billy, why do you only do like 8 to 10 sentences in a live stream? That's just due to time. Even if I rush, I can't get through more than like 10 or 12 sentences without like cutting out explanation or not giving time to think about it. So I always have a worksheet, and you can get all of the worksheets. Well, let me put another link in the chat. Where is that? Google Doc. I'll put a link in the chat for my Google document, the master document, which has everything I've ever done for live streams, all the live streams, all the topics, all the worksheets, all the outlines, everything is there, including today's, which you can already get. The worksheets always have extra sentences. So I think for this one, it's like an extra 8 or 10 sentences or so that you can download and translate. And those are always the sentences that I got, but they're like a little bit too long, or they don't really fit in the lesson as well. They don't illustrate what I'm trying to do as clearly, but you can still practice with those so you can see more real world examples of everything that I do for every live stream. So yeah, check out the worksheet. 이것도 드릴까요? So 이것, this thing, 이것도, so this thing too. 드리다, so to give. 드릴까요? Should I give you, or shall I give you? Should I give you this too? Should I also give you this? 이것도 드릴까요? Should I also give you this? So you can ask someone, like, do they need this? 이것도 드릴까요? Should I give you this too? Like that. 이것도 드릴까요? Okay. And the last sentence for 들이다, I want you to make this. I will make it for you. I will make it for you. Keep in mind, pay attention to that. For you. Not I will make it, but we're going to be using something. One of the things we've learned, we've only learned one thing. We're going to be using what we've learned in this sentence. I will make it for you. You're going to use 만들다, which is to make something. Oh, for Ji-hoon Lee, just note that the ending 에요 is actually spelled as 예요. So 거예요 is how it's spelled. It's always pronounced though as 거예요. But yeah, should always be 예요. Just in case anyone sees that and is wondering. Okay, 트라가 제가 만들어 드릴게요. Perfect. Perfect, 트라가. 아네키. Perfect. And even if you don't use this exact ending to have the perfect feel, you can still come up with a acceptable sentence by using other endings too. So don't stress if you don't know the KO ending. There are other ones you can use that are still grammatically correct, even if it's not the most natural. 만들어 드릴게요. Hopegate. Perfect. Okay, let's see a few others we have. Ayakada. Sure, it makes sense. Blow of, I don't know how to pronounce it, zero something. The spelling is keo, not with a double kiok, but with one. But it's pronounced as ge, so that's not terrible, and you will see people write it that way incorrectly, but just note it's only one. 만들어 드릴게요. Lexica, perfect. 저는 만들어 드릴게요. I will make it for you. Okay, again with the double K letter or G letter, this one, it's always spelled like this. However, it's pronounced as ge. I wrote that weird by holding my pen weird, but anyway, you know what I'm talking about. It's always pronounced this way due to the lir, the letter that comes before it, makes it pronounced as that. But it's always spelled like this, although you'll see people frequently, including Koreans especially, misspell it like this all the time, but just know that it's not that. Although, yes, it is pronounced that, so. Okay, let's see if I'm any others. 제가 만들어 드릴게요. 노미 LC. Nice. Okay, let me give you the answer. 제가, so I will, 만들다, to make. So 만들어, instead of 주다, to make something for someone, we have 만들어 드리다. So the same thing, making something for someone else, but now it's like you're presenting it to them. 만들어 드릴게요. So I will make it, 게요, like saying you will do something, you promise to do something, or you will do something. So I will make it, excuse me, I will make it for you, or for someone, whoever you're talking to. 제가 만들어 드릴게요. So I will make it for you. I'll make it for you. 제가 만들어 드릴게요. Same meaning as 만들어 줄게요. 제가 만들어 줄게요. 제가 만들게. 제가 만들어 줄게요. Same meaning, but it's humble now. It shows that you're lowering yourself, that you respect them. You're not just making it and then yeeting it at them again. You're offering it up to them, kneeling down and saying, oh, thy amazing person. Actually, it's not really that much. It's only a little bit. It just shows, hey, I respect you. Very lightly, it's like, hey, I accept that you are someone that I should respect. That's it. So is it someone you want to express that to? Hey, I kind of respect you. Then yes. Or at least in this position, I should respect you. I want to convey that I respect you. It doesn't have to be like the king, right? It's not like you're actually bowing down to someone when you use this. It's really just like, hey, you know, I'll be polite. Basic level of politeness. Here, 드리다. if it's not, if it's just like your friend, you're never going to use this to your friend. Like, you're not going to say basic level of polite. I respect you with the basic level of politeness. Like, that doesn't even apply to friends. Like, you would swear at each other, right? You'd speak your mind, like honestly, everything like that. So you don't use humble speech with friends, and you wouldn't use it with your family member, your brother and sister for the same reason. But for strangers, yeah, you would use humble speech. I just wanted to give some context because I don't want you to think that this is like for formal situations or anything. This is like regular Korean, just like honorific speech. You use this every day. Okay, the next verb that we have to talk about, or actually I should say two verbs, are pueda and puepta. Puepta is just pueda with a extra p up on the bottom. They have the exact same meaning, and they even have the exact same conjugation. They both conjugate as pueo, or shortened most often to pue. So that's how they both conjugate. The only time you would notice a difference in conjugation is with the keta ending. There is an expression, I wrote it here really messy because you don't need to know it anymore. This used to be the common way to say nice to meet you, a polite way, very formal way to say nice to meet you in Korean. It's not common anymore, so you don't need to know it, but 처음 뵙겠습니다. 처음 뵙겠습니다. You might want to still say this if you're meeting someone who's much older, because it sounds very formal. Nice to meet you. Literally, it means I am 뵙다. I am humbly seeing you or meeting you for the first time. 처음, first time meeting you. So I must be seeing you for the first time. This must be the first time we've met, is what it means. And it's humble, but it's not used anymore. Instead, nowadays, you'll just use 반가워요 or 반갑습니다 or 만나서 반가워요, 만나서 반갑습니다, like that. But 처음 뵙겠습니다 is still used occasionally, and you'll find it in textbooks that are like 20 years old. So back when I first started learning Korean, they still taught this, but even then it wasn't used that much. So this verb is, again, 보다. 보다 is to see, or it could be to meet someone, because you're talking about seeing them. Like, when can we see each other is like, really, when can I meet you? So in that sense, to meet. Let's see. Note, though, although this one is 보다, you cannot use this to replace the 보다 auxiliary verb. By that, I mean like 해보다, like to try doing something, to try. Or 먹어보다. You can't say 먹어보다. It doesn't make, because you're not going to be humble toward a piece of food. So that's why you can't use it. So it can't replace this for normal usage. If you try to add pueda onto a regular verb for like, oh yeah, 제가 한번 먹어볼게요, 한번 먹어볼게요. Like, it sounds really awkward because, again, you're being humble to the food. You're not going to humbly like put it up on a pedestal. Is there something? I mean, some foods are actually quite good. Maybe I would. But anyway, yeah, don't use it for that. But other than that, just for using it to mean to see or to meet, you can replace it. What else do you need to know about this? That's pretty much it. That's all you need to know about this verb. So again, they both conjugate the same way. The only difference is that 뵙다 is ever so slightly more formal than pueda if you use it. But again, you're not going to be using 뵙다 except in that sort of usage. Like 뵙고 싶어요, I want to see you, versus 뵈고 싶어요. 뵙다 is very slightly more formal but less common. So 뵈다 is the main one that you're going to want to know. And again, 뵈요 or 뵈 is how it conjugates. So let's do some sentences. See you tomorrow. I want you to make this sentence. See you tomorrow, or more literally, you don't need to add that pronoun though. I tomorrow, see. Or if you want to be really fancy, why don't you try making my catchphrase more humble? Normally I say 그럼 다음에 또 봐. So how would you make that humble and be more polite? Because honestly, 그럼 다음에 또 봐 is very, 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 very casual. Like you would never say that to a stranger. You would only say it to like your close friends. Oh, 그럼 다음에 또 봐. Like, yeah, see you again later, next time. Like it's very casual. So you couldn't actually say that to an unknown audience unless you're being very casual with that. I just like it as a catchphrase. But anyway, how would you say that more humbly? Or see you tomorrow. Yeah. Trega, you can't do 내일 봐. Because that would be casual if you don't have the you. It just conjugates that way to start. But you would need to attach the you form at the end. You would, or if you're using the sol form, it would be like 배 sol, like that. But you can't just have it as 배 because that would be casual. So it's like you're being humble, you're putting them up, but then you're like talking down to them. So it wouldn't match. The same way you wouldn't use 드려 if you're giving something to someone else, but you could. That doesn't mean that 드려 is never used. You could be a parent talking to your 4-year-old kid, telling your 4-year-old kid to give something to the teacher, in which case you're saying 드려, casual to the person, but making them go lower than the teacher they're giving something up to. Making them show, well, actually by you're using it, you're still showing extra respect to the teacher, but you're putting them lower by doing it. Like, hey, you're lower than the teacher, give it to them, 드려. Which case it's okay. Or like to your grandmother, give it to your grandmother. Otherwise, you would not use these with casual speech. So again, not impossible to use it, but if you're telling someone else, I will see you tomorrow, you would need to use the you form. Otherwise, it would be like a mismatch. And that would be the same with honorific speech. Like if you said, like, 해주세요, like, please do it for me. You couldn't say, 해주셔, like, do it for me. Like, I mean, you could say it. It's kind of funny, but it's wrong because you can't make them more polite and show that you respect them, but then use casual speech to them at the same time. You could say someone else does, hey, 해주셔, like they do it for me really well. They're good at it, but you wouldn't use that when you're talking about the person that you're showing that respect directly to. So you wouldn't say it to the person themselves. 내일 뵐게요. 내일 뵈겠습니다. 내일 봬요. 그럼 다음에 또 봬요. Yep. 내일 봬요. 내일 뵈겠습니다. Or 뵙겠습니다 is also fine. Yeah. 그럼 다음에 봬요. Ji-hoon Lee, it's conjugated as this way. 배. 그럼 다음에 또 봬요. Although you'll see many Koreans misconjugate this as just 배 without any sort of conjugation. 그럼 다음에 또 봬요. Yep. 그럼 다음에 또 뵙겠습니다. Yeah. Oh, Maria, you even changed it to 그러면. Yes, that's very, very nice. Because 그럼 is also like an informal spoken expression, and 그러면 is the full version. Isn't it mocking to say 뭐 하셔? Like, yeah, it would be using it doesn't have to be mocking, but it would be not appropriate, not the normal usage to use casual speech with honorifics. But yeah, you'll hear people do that. Okay. 내일 봬요. So I'll see you or I'll meet you tomorrow. 봬요. Instead of 내일 봐. 안녕. 내일 봐. See you tomorrow for your friends. 내일 봬요. 내일 봬요. See you tomorrow. This one is more appropriate for people who aren't your close friends. Okay, next sentence. I have to give this one to you because it's quite long. The longer ones, I could give it to you, but then they end up getting so many different types of sentences. It's like I end up just explaining the whole thing while trying to get you to make the sentence that I want in the first place. And I don't like to do that. I like giving more freedom. So I actually prefer the short sentences for that reason. 그럼, well then, or then, 언제, when, 다시, again, 뵈다, to see or meet, 뵐 수 있다, could we meet, 뵐 수 있을까요? So then, when can we meet again? When could we see each other again? When could we meet again? 그럼 언제 다시 뵐 수 있을까요? You could also say, 그럼 언제 다시 볼 수 있을까요? It's fine for your friends, your acquaintances who you know well, because that's just kind of informal. But this is more respectful. You would not want to say, 그럼 언제 다시 볼 수 있을까요? Like, you wouldn't say that to your coworkers if you're not close. You wouldn't say that to other people who are strangers. You wouldn't say it to your teachers or anyone of a higher rank than you. It just sounds very casual to use 보다 in that case when you're talking about seeing them. However, again, this is to show respect toward the person that you are referring to. You're not going to use this to say you want to watch a movie the same way you wouldn't use it to say you want to try eating a hamburger. It's for a person, just like 들이다. You wouldn't 들이다 anything to your dog, even if you're talking with your boss. You never 밥 드렸어요 to your dog. You would never do that. It doesn't show any respect to your boss when you're saying 들이다 in reference to the dog. So you wouldn't use these honorific verbs for anything other than referring to people. And it's the same with honorific speech. 그럼 언제 다시 뵐 수 있을까요? So when could we meet again? Or when could we see again, literally? Okay. Also, I should note that humble verbs cannot be combined with honorific verb endings. So you cannot make this. You cannot make this. This is not only like incorrect, it's awkward. It doesn't make sense. 들이시다, because again, 들이다 lowers the speaker and 시다 raises the person you're talking about. So that would be both lowering and raising yourself at the same time. Like, it's not quantum physics here. You have to pick one. You could do 하시다, someone else does something. You could do 들이다, I am giving something, but you can't do 들이시다. The same way you can't do 뵈시다, because you yourself are doing the seeing. You wouldn't use honorific speech when referring to yourself. So because you can't use honorific speech when referring to yourself, the speaker, you cannot use these combinations. That's good for you, though. You don't have to worry about combining them together. That's really it. That's all there is to it. Okay, we're not done. I said that there are humble verbs and humble nouns, right? Well, humble nouns. That sounds really complicated. Oh my goodness. I don't know if we can deal with this. I'll just give you the first humble noun. We'll take things slow, take things really slow so you can follow along. I'm going to write this down. Don't panic. Don't panic. Take a breath. Take a deep breath. I hope this isn't too much for you. This is our first humble noun. I'm going to leave it up here for about 20 minutes so you can think about it and make sure you fully understand it. Take some questions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Traga, you would use both. Because again, 주시다 is someone else that gave something to you or to someone else. Someone else gives it, and 들이다 is the speaker. That's me. So I cannot 주시다 myself. 제가 주셨어요 makes no sense. And they cannot 들이다 to me. 친구가 선물 드렸어요, or 선생님이 선물 드렸어요 저한테. Like, you could say the teacher gave it to like the mob leader, like something like that. Like, sure, you can use 들이다 in that case, but you wouldn't make the teacher go lower to give it to someone else. So they're not used together in that sense. Hopefully, I know I'm explaining it a bunch of times, but hopefully it kind of is clicking. Yeah. So, 저, the word that you use every time you make a sentence almost is humble. It lowers the speaker. It's not just polite, it's humble. You want to know what the non-humble version of 저 is? Get ready for this. Hope you're ready. Take notes. It's 나. 나 is not casual, actually. Believe it or not, 나 is the regular word for I or me. Now, there are other words for I or me as well that are archaic, but the regular word for I or me is 나. It doesn't show any extra respect towards someone else. So you might be thinking, wait, 저 is so common. I didn't know it's humble. Oh, that's interesting. This is how common humble speech is. Anytime you would use 저 to refer to talk about yourself, and you want to say give to someone else like that, you can also use humble speech. Although you don't have to use 들이다 with every single person you would use 저 with. Like if they're your acquaintance and you just want to say, I'll help you out, you probably could 도와줄게요. But then still it's a little bit, it actually would still be a little bit casual in that case. To keep things simple, anytime you would use 저, you're going to want to use 들이다 and 되다 for those verbs. When you're talking about giving something to someone else who you respect, or seeing or meeting someone else who you respect. So it's used all the time. 나, however, is not casual by itself. It just, because it doesn't show that extra level of respect, it's considered to be informal. It's considered to be casual because it doesn't show any extra respect. 나 is just me, you. Me, Tarzan, you, Jane. We're on the same level when you use 나. So think of 나 as like we're on the same playing field. I'm not looking up to you. I'm not lowering myself down or raising you up. We're just equals. Or maybe you're lower than me, but I'm just speaking to you straightforward. That's 나. 저, however, is this. I feel like an Oompa Loompa. Did anyone watch the Wonka movie that came out? It was actually pretty fun. The trailer was the worst trailer I've seen since I almost said since Cats, but that's not true. Since the first Sonic trailer, the Wonka trailer was the worst trailer I've ever seen. So I went into it with zero expectations. Maybe that's why I left enjoying it, but it was kind of fun. I liked it. So yeah, my recommendation for the Wonka movie, it was heartfelt. It wasn't terrible. And trailer made it look kind of terrible though. Okay. Aniki says, that's why old people use 나, even though they use the you form. One of the reasons, I actually explain it in more detail in my Master Politeness Levels course. Yes, I have a free course, 24 episodes on my channel right now. That's all about politeness levels, which so many people want to learn about. But I taught it anyway. Let me find it here. I'll link to it in the chat so you can see it. But yeah, it's completely free. Goes into like everything that you never wanted to know about politeness levels in excruciating detail. Like I think there's 4 separate lessons that are like 10 minutes long, all about each of the speech levels and stuff like that. Okay, anyway. So yeah, this lowers the speakers and this lowers the speaker and this does not. There's one more humble noun that you need to know. 저, okay, well, we already saw this one, but hold on. Oh my goodness, this is too hard. I hope you can handle this. This is just the humble version of 우리. So us or we or my. 저희. The he makes it plural. 저희. So us. This is humble. So if you want to be very humble. Now, although you might think, how come you can use 저희? It's humble. You're making us. It's other people in your group. You're making everyone be humble at once. It's acceptable. It's okay. You can just use 저희. Even though you might be with other people who you can't speak for if they're going to be humble or not, right? You can't use humble speech about someone else. But with 저희, it's just whatever. Like, they don't care. It's just you being, like, you just saying we and you being respectful and kind of clumping everyone together in the group with you. But it's fine to use as just the humble version. So it's just the humble version of 우리. That's it. And you'll be happy to know there are no other humble nouns that you need to know. Yes, that's right. There are other polite words that tend to get used together with humble speech and honorific speech. And I actually include those in my course, like 말씀 is one common word. 말씀, though, is not humble. It's not honorific. It's just a polite word that gets used with that. And there's some other words like 식사 instead of 밥. 식사 is another polite word, but it's not honorific. It's not humble. It just tends to get used in polite speech. So we're not going to talk about polite words. There are some more of those. But yeah, that's it for humble nouns. Okay. If you are here as a beginner, your lesson is over. That's it. That's all you need to know about humble speech. Really. 들이다 and pueda or 뵙다. And then 저 and 저희. If you understand those, you have mastered honorific, well, not honorific, I don't know, maybe you did, humble speech. For those of you who are advanced, there are 2 more humble verbs that you should know. Now, Korean doesn't really have that many humble verbs. We learned when I taught about honorific speech, there was a whole list of honorific verbs. There are also the honorific endings, so you can stick it on any verb you want. There are honorific particles, there are honorific nouns, there are honorific, all this stuff for honorific speech. Humble speech is literally 들이다 and pueda, and you're done. You don't even need to learn 저 because you already know that's polite, right? Really, just teaching you 저 is just to be like, see, humble speech is used everywhere. But you don't really need to include that in your notes. You already know it. Just 들이다 and pueda, and you're good. Like, it's so simple. But if you're advanced, we're going to be covering 2 more humble verbs that you should know. But you really don't need these if you're a beginner, because you won't hear them, and you won't, well, you might hear them, but you definitely won't need to use them. You can just use their regular verbs. 모시다. It looks like an honorific verb because it ends with shida. But it's a humble verb. What does it mean? This means 데리다, which is to bring someone somewhere. You probably have seen this as 데리고 가다, 데리고 오다, or 데려가다, 데려오다. Well, now you can say 모셔 가다, 모셔 오다, 모시고 가다, 모시고 오다. It's to bring someone. So if you're going to bring your boss to the airport, you're not going to say 데리고 갔어요. No, because it's not humble enough. Let's make that sentence actually. 공항 is airport. 공항에, to the airport, 사장님을, the boss, 모시고 갔어요. So I took my boss and I went to the airport. 공항에 사장님을 모시고 갔어요. So I brought my boss to the airport. Instead of 데리고 갔어요. You wouldn't say 데리고 갔어요 for your boss or grandparents like that. It just doesn't sound polite enough. It sounds like you don't really respect him enough. Okay, let's see here. I thought all along that 모시다 is honorific. Yeah, well, you would say this. If it was honorific, then you would be using it. The boss, 모시고 갔어요. But no, it's you. You do. Okay. And there are a few other things like that, like verbs that are assumed to be honorific or humble, but they're the other one. Or they're not at all. Like I said, 말씀 was one. 말씀 is the same meaning as 말, but it's used politely. So many people incorrectly assume that it's honorific speech, but you can use it for you said something or someone else said something. So it's neither. It's just polite. If you say 말씀, it sounds like you're putting more respect on the person's 말, but it also sounds like you're making it more humble by using it on yourself. Like, I did say that. It just makes it sound more polite. So overall, it's neither. It's just a polite version. So there's some things like that where it seems like it's one or the other, but it's the other. Okay. Does it also mean to serve? Yes, it has more. You'll see it. It's also the common way for like taking care of, like to serving, like like supporting kind of. You'll see it in other combinations too. Just keep an eye out for it. But yeah, 모시다 as well is the same meaning. Like someone takes care of their parents, that sort of thing. Okay, next. There's one more. This one is actually really common. That is, the next one is 여쭈다, 여쭈다. Now, 여쭈다 is also sometimes 여쭈다. However, they both conjugate the same way as this. 여쭈어 or 여쭈. So, whether you're using 여쭈다 or 여쭈다, it conjugates the same way. And this is the same thing as peda and pepda. 여쭈다 is just a tiny bit more respectful, but less common as a result. So, this one means to ask. Now, you could say, 선생님, 저 물어보고 싶은 거 있어요. I have something that I want to ask. 물어볼게요. 저 하나만 물어봐도 될까요? Could I ask you something? You can, but if you want to be more respectful, 여쭈다. So, I asked the teacher. You could say, 선생님한테 물어봤어요, to your friends. Or, if you want to say it to someone and show them that you respect the teacher, then you can use 여쭈다 instead. Actually, I shouldn't say it means 물어보다, but it means 묻다, to ask. The reason is because this one can also add 보다 to the end. So let me write that just to make sure it's clear. I don't really want you to think it equals 물어보다. It actually equals 묻다, but so it actually equals 묻다, which is to ask, but same meaning as 물어보다 overall. Okay, so let me give you a sentence. Let me give you a sentence for this one. Okay. The reason why I said it's 묻다, not 물어보다, because you can have 여쭤보다, and that is 물어보다. 선생님께, so to the teacher, 여쭈다, to ask. So I asked, 물어봤어요, 여쭤봤어요. 선생님께 여쭤봤어요. So I asked the teacher. Literally, I asked to the teacher. So that just shows extra respect toward the teacher. And you'll hear 여쭈다 used all the time. And I like using this word because while 물어보다 in itself is not rude or anything at all, it's fine. 여쭈다 shows just that extra amount of respect. Like, hey, I'm going to ask, can I just, ask something? It sounds more kind, I think. Is there a space? Yeah. However, technically, when you're working with auxiliary verbs, not spacing them or spacing are both acceptable. But per the rules, you have to make sure to space it. But yeah, you'll see like without spacing for auxiliary verbs, and the National Institute of Korean Language they're not going to come after you if you space it or not. But 질문하다 means to ask a question specifically. 질 is a question and 문 is to ask. So yeah, literally it's like to ask something, to ask a question. Anyway, yeah. So you would just say 질문하다 means to ask a question by itself. That's a separate verb. But you have to space. Yeah, I have to space it because I'm a teacher, but you don't have to, and I'm not going to care either, honestly. I don't care about spacing. No one cares about spacing. Oh, Easer K, I got my horror sweatshirt in the mail. Really? Did you buy something? Hold on. I didn't even know. I didn't check my merch sales. I don't sell that much merch, but I do have some. Yeah, I do. I see it. I saw it right here. You're right. Oh, I can see exactly which one you got, but I won't say it. It shows the one that people order. But I don't get too much merch sales. I do have some merch though. Maybe I should announce that sometimes. Let's see. I have actually I only I have like 3 things. 4 wait, no, that's not it. That's my t-shirt. Okay. Hold on. I actually have some of my own merch, but I never wear it because I'm too afraid of ruining it. This is my personal favorite. I like this. I know I wasn't the first person to do this, but I did it the best. I have the best design for it, I think. There's some other designs I saw that are not as good. So yeah, keep calm and study Korean. I like this one. But yeah, I can't wear it. I'm scared of ruining it. And then I can't show it off and then get like one sale a year from it. So I'm scared to wear it. And then the other one I have, which I have actually worn a few times, but I have to turn it back. It was inside out. That's because I'd worn it and then washed it and then didn't turn it back the other way. Is this one, which is me and Kikat. If you're not Korean, you won't really know what this is, but every Korean in all of the entire world, and I mean that, knows this design, just not with me and Kikat. But 참 잘했어요 is in 5 stars. This is a sticker that they would give you at school, like back from like, I think from the 60s or even before. And they still do it, but at least maybe less nowadays, but they still did at least up until like the 90s. So every kid, and even kids born in 2000 still know this. It's like good job sticker that the teacher would give you, and it would have Charsu and Youngi, the 2 common Korean characters. So I just redid the same thing with me and Kikat. And yeah, I have worn this a few times, but other than that, I'm too scared to wear my own merch. And there's a link to the merchandise, I think, in the description. Should be. Yeah, it is exactly like the Eurostar sticker. Let's see. Do I have... I'll link it in the chat just because why not? You know, plug some merch, right? Okay. That is the entire lesson for today. I wish I could tell you there's more advanced Korean that we can learn for humble speech, but there really isn't. Humble speech, once you've already learned honorific speech, which is a bigger topic, humble speech is really just that. Just here are 2 more verbs that you can use to make yourself sound more polite when you're already talking with someone or talking about someone who you want to show extra respect toward. So really quick, I'm going to take a thumbnail image. It's always awkward, but I take one or else I'll never get one. And then I want to really quickly again show you my new book, and then I'm going to open up for questions. I'll take questions for about 10 minutes. So again, in case you missed it in the beginning, I have a new book that just came out last week. It's called Korean Conversation Made Simple. It is 25 100% natural, real, native Korean conversations together with audio files for all of them. Everything is explained in excruciating detail. So you get all of the words that are used that are beyond like the most basic level. Everything that's beyond super basic level is defined here. So it's not going to define words like tall for I or me, but it will define things like haemur for seafood, because you might not know that one. Choge for clam. This is this is a conversation where someone's ordering food at a restaurant, and this is how a native would do it, not how a textbook would teach it again. So these are completely natural. There's another one where someone's buying an item at the register, so you get to hear all the expressions that Koreans use to you, like 포인트 적립하세요. You know, you'll hear that like, whoa, what does that mean? So that sort of thing, like, do you need a bag? Yeah, everything's native, so it's not perfect Korean sometimes. There are lots of mistakes, and those are all pointed out, including grammar mistakes, pronunciation mistakes, but these are like, you're going to hear them all the time anyway. So incorrect but really common Korean, slang expressions, tons of spoken only grammar forms. There's a lot of stuff that Koreans only use in speech that you'll never learn in a textbook, because I mean, textbooks are designed to teach you the basics. Just like you go to guitar school, they're not going to teach you like how to copy an AC/DC song, right? They're going to teach you the chords first. Later, then you can learn whatever you want. But first, you got to learn the basics. That way, you know the rules, so you can know how to break the rules. That's what textbooks do. But this is now the AC/DC piece you've always wanted to learn how to play. That's the idea, anyway. So yeah, just came out last week. 178 pages, 1,000 new words and grammar forms. You can get it on Amazon in print. It's also in ebook form. You can find it in PDF on my website. Yeah, that is my advertisement. Okay, so I'm going to take questions now for about 10 minutes or so. Feel free to ask anything, either about the lesson or just about Korean or about Korea or about anything you want. It's so soft on the inside. It is soft? Is it? I actually didn't really pay much attention to it. It's not. It's kind of soft. I have two because this was my misprint. I printed it once as a check, and then I format it and do like check for typos and everything, and then I printed it again. But the first time I printed it wrong with the wrong kind of cover, and I hate this feeling. I don't know. I can't tell you how much I hate this matte feeling on the book for printing. So I reprinted it in slightly glossy, which is much better. But I still have this one I use because, you know, I can shuffle through it and I don't have to worry about damaging the pages. But yeah, really proud of it. I also have another announcement I'm going to be making in a couple weeks, but for right now, that's the brand new thing going on. I've been working on that. Actually, I was working on that together with the Korean Reading Made Simple 2. I started that around the same time. So that book's been in the works for quite a long time now. Can we have a little preview of the book? Oh, I mean, I could show you a conversation. Oh, here, this one has some swearing. Not swearing. That's not the word. There aren't swears taught in this book. Specifically, although it's natural, some things I did avoid are mentioning the brand names because I don't want to get sued. And then like a specific school name for the same reason. I changed some stuff from real conversations. And then actual like legitimate swears, there are not in this book. But there are some words that are kind of like swears that you wouldn't use them unless you're really close friends with someone. This one has some of that. These are two girls that have met for the first time after like 5 years. I can't show you the whole thing because you can't really see it. I could read some of it. They meet. Okay, so the first thing they say, 5년 5년 기집애 너 어쩜 전화번호도 바꾸고 연락이 한 번도 없냐? So like, it's been like 5 years, girl. Replace that with whatever word you want to. How come you like change your phone number and don't even call me one time? Like that sort of conversation. It's not all slang in the book though. It's like I said, these are real conversations. So you're not just going to get a bunch of slang. That's not realistic. But some of them do, like friends, the ones where friends are talking with each other. We also have some where friends are calling. So you get a little bit different on Korean on the phone. Let's see. Two coworkers talking about setting New Year's resolutions, which is a very realistic conversation. People are going to ask you, what are you doing for your New Year's resolution? You know, how was your New Year's break? All that sort of stuff. You don't really want to talk about it maybe, but that's how you do it. Making a reservation and canceling a reservation and it doesn't work right because they say you can't get a refund. So it's talking about that. Another conversation where people are trying to buy something at a 편의점, convenience store, and they're looking for like a 2+1 item. So this one has the person asking if they have a membership card. They ask if they could use the bathroom. They get told the passcode. These are all completely realistic things you're going to do in Korea. So nothing like, hello, please give me one coffee. Thank you. How much is it? It is $5,000. Okay. 500,001. That's really, it's the best coffee in the world. Okay. That sort of, it's realistic. It's not, there's none of that. Like, oh, have a nice day. Thank you. Goodbye. Cause no one speaks like that. It's like, all right, let me get that. Okay. Here's how much it is. All right. Shh. Do you have a point card? No. Okay. Hey, can I use your bathroom? Here you go. It's the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever. So yeah. And you can actually get the full audio files right now already. So if you want to hear all the conversations for free before you buy it, go ahead. They're all on my website, all 25 of them. I think it's like 40 minutes of audio. So go ahead and get that. And if you like the conversations, if they sound cool to you, you want to know what they say, then get the book. Supermoto John says, I just bought the paperback. Thank you. Awesome. Hope you enjoy it. Okay, Hope says, I'm just looking at the merch now. Everything's so cute. Oh, thank you. I don't have that much, though. I wanted to go for quality over quantity. So some of the stuff I designed, some of the stuff my wife actually designed. I'm not going to tell you exactly which ones, but I did the Keep Calm and Study Korean. That was mine. The Hor was my wife designed that. Hor 셔츠 보여주세요. I don't think I have the Hor shirt. No, I didn't get the Hor shirt. When will the 무조건 FAQ video come out? Let me check. It's already filmed. I think I filmed it like last year. I don't remember, honestly. Let's see. Oh, hey, good timing. It's the very next Korean FAQ that comes out. But that's not going to be for 2 weeks because I don't put up Korean FAQs every single week anymore because I didn't have time to do anything else. Like I realized that making Korean FAQs every 2 months, I had to do them every 2 months, took out a gigantic 2-week block of every 2 months that I had to keep doing them for. So I'm like, I can, but if I do that, I won't have any time for video projects. Like that's the whole reason I could do 2 books this year was because I didn't have the Korean FAQ. So I do them only on weeks that I don't have a live stream. But when I'm in Korea, I'm not doing live streams as often. So there will be a Korean FAQ every single week when I'm in Korea. But when I'm not in Korea, they'll only be every other week. So yeah, 2 weeks from now will be the 무조건 video. Let's see. Leah Lindsay says, what's the best place for money exchange? You know, I don't know because I don't exchange money in Korea. I just use either my credit card from the US, which will have no foreign transaction fee, or I would just use cash that I already have from the previous trips that I can get from a bank account, my bank account. Well, actually not my bank account, wife's bank account in Korea, or get money. Yeah, usually getting money before I go is more convenient because you can order money from the bank directly, but I don't know the best. I honestly don't know the best place. If you're going for a trip as a tourist, it doesn't matter. I mean, you could get it at the airport and who really cares if you're missing out on $5 or $10 worth of, you know, their fees that they have for that. It's not that big of a deal because you're not getting thousands of dollars. You're only getting a few hundred maybe. I would just say get it wherever. Get it where there are lots of tourists, lots of people moving through. You're not going to get scammed. What level do you say the book is for? It's for anyone who's beyond the basics. So you've learned verb conjugation. You know how to use the like hey 주다 form. So you can like do things for other people. You know how to make past tense, future tense, present tense, progressive tense, like all the really basic stuff. Everything that's taught in my beginner course is the basics of the basics. If you know that, you're more than prepared for the book. If you don't know all of that, but you know most of it, you're probably okay with the book and a dictionary. Now the book explains everything that's new. Everything that I know is not already taught in that beginner course is explained. Some stuff I actually go and re-explain it. Like there's an explanation again in the book of how to use the plain form. Even though plain form is covered in the beginner course, I do another review of it in the this book as well, just because it's such a common topic. So some things are covered again, but most things it just assumes you already know. So yeah, if you're intermediate, you're way qualified for the book. Although the conversations in them again are completely natural, so they'll range from beginner to advanced level. I can't find the audio file. Oh yeah, it's on the same. Oh wait, it should be. Hold on. No, the audio file should be there. Hold on. Did I not? No, they're up there. Yeah, they're okay. On the right side of the page, there's a link that says Korean Conversation Made Simple free audio files. It's right below the Korean Made Simple free audio download link. So it's on the same the sidebar of the website. And if you click that, you can download them. Let me know if you can't find it though. But yeah, it's right there. Do other textbooks do the Jane eats cake sentence as a secret plot to make sure forwarders don't assimilate too much? Like they still want to talk about us, so they give this hooked on phonics tourist. Yeah, like I mean, I write textbooks myself. I don't have anything against textbooks, but textbooks are not the Korean that people actually use, and that's unavoidable. If you have a book that teaches what Koreans actually use, beginners, it's just going to go fly over everyone's head, because how can, like, even the most simple Korean sentences that people actually use require a fundamental understanding of how Korean works to begin with. Like, you need to know how to conjugate verbs, obviously. You can't just learn an expression that someone uses and then use it correctly to yourself. You're going to misuse it. Someone says, oh yeah, you can say 주세요 to say please give me. Great! You cannot use 주세요 to mean please give me in every situation. There are other times where you'd want to say 줘요 or 줘 or 주라. Like, there are so many different verbs, and you have to learn the conjugations for all of that. So, but you need to learn the basics so that you can then learn the stuff that's beyond that. So you kind of need both. You need some sort of reference book, textbook, lessons, whatever, something to give you a foundation, or at least that you can refer to it to pick up stuff you're missing. But then you need the real conversations, the real listening practice, real speaking practice in order to actually become good at Korean. You can't do one or the other. If you do only textbook stuff and never get into real conversation, you're not going to actually have conversations. And vice versa, if you do only real conversations, never touch the textbook stuff, you're going to have really awkward sounding Korean, and no one's going to have the heart to tell you. Go where the Chinese people. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you see a bunch of Chinese people, well, people that look like they're Chinese or speaking Chinese in a touristy area and they're all around like a money exchange area, it's probably okay. Like I said, you're not getting a great deal because they'll say they'll give you a great exchange rate. So you're like, oh, it's a great, I can do all my money exchange here. But then you actually have to pay a fee. So like they'll charge you a fee on the exchange. And the fee will make it so it doesn't matter if their exchange was the best in the world. You're going to pay much more by that fee. But if you're only exchanging a few $100s for a trip, like, what does it matter if you throw out an extra $10 for the person to help you out to exchange it? It's not that big of a deal. So I wouldn't worry so much about where to get that done. Just get it done somewhere. Okay. I'll stick around just for another 5 minutes. Take some more questions. Someone just messaged me an email. I can't find where to download the audio files. I don't know if that's you. I don't know if that's you, Treka. But I'll reply to them anyway after this live stream. I'll let them know it's on the side of the page. Family of 6 going in 2 weeks. How long are you going to be there? But like I said, if it's just if it's under $1,000, I wouldn't care. If it's like over $1,000, then I would try to find the place with the best exchange rate, the lowest fees, all that. And for that, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know where to tell you because that's not what I do. 9 days is significant though. Check with your credit card. You might have a credit card that has no foreign transaction fee. They have some that do. If so, you could just use your credit card. For most stores, though, you would still need cash for some places. Yeah, but they'll have ATMs all over Korea. I guess it'll just depend on what you're planning to do. If you're planning on just like making your large purchases with your foreign credit card, then that's probably going to be easy. But then, yeah, they'll have a foreign transaction fee that could be an extra 2 to 5%, depending on your card. So just keep that in mind. Trega says, not me. Okay. Yeah, I just got a message that was like, can't find the audio files. I'm like, oh, that sounds suspiciously familiar. Yeah, the audio files are all on the website. You can download them right now for the book. The audio files are completely free. So again, you don't need to buy the book just to get the conversations, but you wouldn't have a transcription of them and you wouldn't know what they mean. But yeah, go ahead and download them, listen to them. I think they sound really good. Yeah, totally natural. So you get to hear like and the thing is, totally natural doesn't mean like it doesn't mean like that. I'm talking about real conversations. Real Korean people don't speak at 100 miles an hour with slang and dialect and everything like that. That's not realistic. Like some people do, most people don't. Most people speak very at a reasonable speed with some slang, some dialect, or some incorrect Korean spoken grammar here and there. It's not full of it because it would just sound like they're uneducated if they were to just have slang everywhere and really, really fast. Like you're not really going to get that kind of conversation most of the time. Actually, very rarely you'll see someone speaking like very hard to understand like that. Okay, best websites to order Korean books. Ready's great for ebooks. I'd like some physical books. So yeah, you have to be in Korea because the best websites that ship Korean books, I mean, when you're in Korea, it doesn't matter what you use. You can use like literally, I was trying to think any website for ordering anything will have Korean books in it as well. Or, I mean, I don't even order books online usually when I'm in Korea. I just go to the bookstores because they have so much stuff. The bookstores will already curate the most popular stuff that people want anyway. So you don't have to search online to try to find what you might like. You just go directly to the store and they'll have it laid out right in front of you. All of the ones you want and the other ones you didn't know about. You have to be in Korea though. I haven't found an affordable way to get books from Korea in the US, unless it's something that already has stock in the US. Like it's so popular, they already have it in the US. No, you have to get them in Korea. And every time I go to Korea, I'll bring back home 5-ish kilograms. So like, I'm saying kilograms because that's what they weigh my bag at the airport in. Yeah, so anywhere from about like 10 to 15 pounds of my bag when I come back from Korea is always books. And those aren't for me though. Only a couple of them might be for me. They're for my kid. I get him lots of Korean books whenever I go to Korea. Last trip, I think I had 20 pounds of books, though that was an outlier. But I had so much extra space in my bag last time because I went by myself and it was a shorter trip than usual. So I brought a bunch of gifts to give out to my friends, but I had all this extra space left in my bag when I was leaving. So I got like, yeah, probably close to 20 pounds of books on my last day there and just like lugged all of these in my suitcase and then carried them on the plane. Yeah, that's the best places just to go on in Korea. I don't know of other stores that have a good selection of Korean books outside of Korea. Traga says, I can use my credit card with no fee at stores or ATM machines. You mean no foreign transaction fee? That's the specific wording you want, foreign transaction fee. I mean, I'm sure you can use it with no fee at stores or ATM machines in your home country, but just double check that it's foreign. It says no foreign transaction fees, and then you're fine. But you still will have problems with using a credit card in a Korean app. Like if you want to sign up for an app, they like delivery apps, not all of them will accept a foreign credit card. Even websites, they won't accept a foreign credit card. You have to have a Korean one. So just don't rely on it only, but for any large purchase, you'll be fine. I'm just going to exchange like $100 at the airport to get like a T-Money card and a sandwich or something, then go to the Seoul equivalent of Chinatown and find a... Oh yeah, the Seoul equivalent of Chinatown is probably Myeongdong. Yeah, you're good at Myeongdong is where all the tourists go. I don't like Myeongdong. I recommend against visiting Myeongdong if you're in Korea, unless you have something specific that you need there. Like if you just want to peruse the common Korean cosmetics at a not a terrible price, but an acceptable price, then Myeongdong is great. If you want to see what random Korean street food there is, like not the standard stuff, but like non-standard Korean street food, then go to Myeongdong. I just don't like it. It's like way too touristy. There's nothing there that's really good. There are some good restaurants there, but the majority are made for, at least in the main area, they serve tourists who don't know what Korean food is and aren't that picky. And they'll charge you a premium for food that's like you could get just as good or better anywhere else for less. So yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. But that's where you would go. That's where all the tourists go to. So anytime I go to Myeongdong, it's like 90% tourists. Let's see. Nadi says, a friend is going there to Korea. Okay, I don't know what to ask her to bring me. Oh gosh, that's too big. I can't tackle that question. You need to give me some more specifics because there are too many things I could say. Even me, I bring too many things back home. Would some Koreans get annoyed if we asked them to speak slowly? They wouldn't want to talk to you very long. They wouldn't get annoyed because they don't expect you to speak any Korean. They are shocked when you even say 안녕하세요, 반갑습니다. If you say literally like, oh, 안녕하세요, 반가워요, like anything, literally anything, they are shocked. So they are not annoyed if you ask them to speak slower, but instead they're going to not want to talk to you for very long because it's kind of frustrating to have to speak slowly. They're not used to communicating with people who aren't fluent in Korean. There just isn't that sort of culture like where we're used to in the US, communicating with immigrants, communicating with people from maybe they're born in the US, maybe they don't have perfect English. We're used to that in big cities, especially. I'll go to Subway, and the person behind the counter, I can tell their English is a little bit rusty, but whatever. We just speak slowly to each other. We're tolerant of that. Korea is not really a thing. They'll just try to switch to English if they think they can't communicate with you. So you tell them to speak in Korean slowly, they kind of might feel like, are they just using me for Korean practice? I can speak English better than they speak Korean. I'll just use English. If it's your friend though, they're not going to care. They might help you. Like, oh, we can speak slowly today. 그래 천천히 말할게. Like they might do that a little bit, but after a while, people are going to kind of get tired of it. So yeah, you could ask them just to repeat themselves. Like, or can you say that again more slowly? Like once is fine for a sentence, but you're not going to have full conversations like that. They're not going to be like, why are you visiting Korea? Like they're not going to do that for every sentence, even though they might do it for a few sentences at first. Lucky kid, I would love to have grown up bilingual. I wish I could go back in time and warn my parents. Yeah, that sort of thing is like 100% on the parents, not on the kid. If a kid speaks multiple languages, it's just what their environment is. Someone who grows up in some European countries are exposed to like 3 or 4 languages. So they grow up, they learn those languages. I didn't even have to study. Yeah, duh, you didn't study it because you grew up with those languages. So you don't have to be like, I guess you don't have to be resentful of it. It's just, was that a possible environment you could have grown up in? Probably not. I mean, for most people in the US, it's English. So the only reason my kid can speak Korean to the level he does is because I am really closely overseeing that. And he knows it. I'm trying to help him maintain and improve his Korean. I make sure my wife, who's Korean, I make sure she only speaks to him in Korean. And she's fine with that anyway. She doesn't like to speak much in English anyway. And then we get him lots and lots of books and materials and games and videos that he can enjoy in Korean, that it doesn't have to be like okay, let's have study time. Come here, let's study. There's none of that. It's just, here's your video that you wanted to watch. Oh, it's in Korean. Oh, whoopsie. All right. Well, here's a new book. It's in Korean. Oh, sorry about that, but it looks really fun. That's how it works. His favorite game is, he loves, I don't even want to say, he's probably going to come running here. He loves Minecraft. And we put that in the Korean language as well. So he knows all of the block names in Korean better than he does in English. That's the only reason. I mean, if we just having a Korean parent, or even if I was Korean, that wouldn't make a kid be able to speak Korean beyond a basic level. And then when he grows up and goes to, high school and has his own friends and does everything, then it's gone. By that point, even if you have 2 Korean parents, you grew up in the US, you're not speaking Korean much. At least definitely not at a fluent level. So it really is like it's a task. You have to work at it. Xandria says, I was told to get skincare at Myeongdong, but nothing else. Yeah, that's a good advice. Get skincare stuff at Myeongdong. And it's not that you can't get skincare stuff anywhere else. You can literally walk into any Oyeong, I believe is they call it. I think it's, yeah. Olive is like just a chain of skincare product companies. They're like little convenience stores with skincare stuff. There's also Skin Food. Am I thinking right? Face Shop. Is this Skin Food too? Yeah, Face Shop and a couple others. But anyway, that really, really common. You just walk into any of those and get the Korean cosmetics that you want. But Myeongdong does have a big variety, and because there's so many tourists there are going to be people being like, oh, I'll give you 5 of these for $1 to come in our store, oh, here's a free one, and you grab it and they're like pulling you in. The deals are sometimes okay. So yeah, it's fine for that. You just want to go one place and get your cosmetics. Myeongdong. Other than that, like get out of there before lunchtime. Maybe you can grab like Korean street food if you want, but like I said, I've had some Korean street food there and it was kind of disappointing. It wasn't even what it should have been for what it was, and it was overpriced on top of it. So it's not my favorite place. On says, Billy, I want to buy one of your books, but I'm not sure which one I should get. I'm a beginner. If you're a new beginner, that would be Korean Made Simple. This one, Korean Made Simple. There's also a workbook, but honestly, I mean, even though I wrote it, and even though I obviously want money, you don't need this workbook. There are workbook problems at the back of every single chapter. They're like 2 or 3 pages of workbook problems at the back where you can practice translating or like matching stuff. The workbook's just more of that if you really want that. A bunch of people said they really want that, so I made it, but just this plus practicing with a friend is probably fine to get started if you want one of my books. If you're beginner, I would start with the first. Leia Lindsay, so there are Minecraft books in Korean. I swear, he has ears everywhere. What's a good bookstore? Literally anywhere. Kyobo is my favorite. If you're in Korea, this is a chain of bookstores you'll see, and it's my favorite. It's not obviously there are other bookstores that are sometimes cooler, but this one's pretty consistent in that it's large. Most of their stores are large, so they have a big selection. Prices are standard. You're not getting discounts here, but they're not like, you're not paying more than the sticker price or anything like that. Easy to find everything. So they'll have like a whole section for everything you're looking for. And you'll find a section that just has a bunch of books laid out on a table that looks really big. That's where you want to look. That's the popular, whatever books are popular. They'll have a kids section. They'll have all the kids books. They'll have, language section. They'll have all the English learning books, all the Korean learning books, all that, except mine sometimes. But all the other Korean learning books that sell really well will be there. So yeah, I really like Kyobo. They also have, if you go to the larger versions of them, they have some really large stores that are like multiple stories. Those ones will have a downstairs area that sells exclusively stationery, and it is physically hard to leave the store. Mentally and physically difficult. I can't get out of there. Like, send help. If you go down there and if you have the slightest interest in various colored pens and cute stationery paper, notebooks, markers, erasers, anything like that, don't go there unless you're willing to spend a lot of money and a lot of time. I can easily fall down those steps to the basement on accident and not be able to get out until like 2 hours later. And that would be like when my friend's like, hey, I guess we should go eat. And I'm like, oh, you're right. It's like 2 o'clock. You're warned. Let's see. Have you made videos with Jolly? No, I haven't. I don't think they're doing Korea stuff though anymore. I think they left Korea. I haven't kept up to date for several years. If I could, that would be great. I would love to. Maybe I could teach Korean. I don't know. No, I don't have any direct contact with them, but that would be pretty fun. I'd totally be open to that. Let's see. Just checking here. Carly says, do you have any recommendations, places to visit in Seoul for families with tweens besides Lotte World and Everland? Yeah, the Minsokchon, the Hanguk Minsokchon, the Korean folk village is located in Suwon, which is about an hour away from Seoul by bus. The Minsokchon is like a theme park version of an old Korean town. And I've done a video in there before. I did a live stream there as well. And actually I did 2 videos there. It was my first Korean like travel video I ever did. And then I did another one with my son, and then I did a live stream there. But anyway, it's fun. It's great for families to go together and experience like a bit of Korea. I would recommend there. And I wish they paid me because I've been there so many times now. I've spent so much money there. Like just an admission, it's like $30 to get in. Oh, 30,000 won. So ish. You'll spend more than that on food when you're in there anyway. Maria says, I'm finishing the Korean Made Simple 2 workbook right now. Oh, nice. We went to Seoul last summer. Can't wait to visit again. Carly says. It's me says, sounds like me at the craft store. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's dangerous level because I mean, I could go into the craft store in the US and I could spend like 30, 40 minutes there, even though I don't do anything. I don't do any crafts, but oh, look how many types of clay they have. Oh, they have polymer clay. Oh, wow. Like you can do that stuff at any store, but the difference is it's Korean and it's all styles, like designs and stuff you've never seen because they're, exclusive to Korea. And Kyobo has a lot of deals with small companies that make really cute and unique designs. So you might think you're immune to buying a bunch of pens until you see that they have a pen by this designer and their pens look so cute and you'll never find them in the US. And same with like the notebooks. They'll have like notebooks that are shaped like animals or shaped like something else or have like texture on them. And you're like, oh, I would so put this in my closet and then never touch it again. Like it's really cool if you go there. Korean Englishman. Yeah, that's right. I saw his Instagram post. They, I think it was like last week that they announced that they're having a baby. I mean, she is not him, I'd hope. But although I don't know, I did see the movie. What was it? Is that Junior? Or was it? Yeah, the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger gets pregnant. Does anyone else remember that? Okay, moving on. Elvira asked, hold on. Which dictionary do you recommend? I recommend a electronic dictionary. So I specifically recommend Naver Dictionary. If you have access to the internet, then Naver Dictionary. It's free. It's online. It has literally everything. Or if you're not ready for that because it is a bit overwhelming, it has too much stuff, then the Korean Learner's Dictionary is like a simpler version of Naver. I still like Naver, but yeah, Korean Learner's Dictionary. You can just search that on Google. It'll pop up. I have a video about my recommended dictionary for Korea, like how to use it. I have a video about my tools and apps for Korean. I don't know if I have those on a thing here. Let's see. No, I don't have that on a little key press, but you can search for my video about Korean apps or the video about dictionaries. You can find those links to those. I would use that. If you must have a dictionary that you carry around in Korea, you can find these types of dictionaries, but they're kind of expensive. Like they don't have internet access. Well, actually the nicer ones do, but you're not going to have like the latest words. And then you have to carry around this bulky thing in your pocket when you can already do it on your phone. But if you don't have internet and you really need something that can always be there, then these work. But yeah, these are not cheap. When I bought this in 2005, it was $300. Which is ridiculous because it doesn't do anything compared to the ones that you could buy at the same time in Korea. But I bought this one before going to Korea, so it was my fault. But yeah, they have like a little keyboard, a screen. You can push like a speak button and it'll have a robot voice talk to you. The newer ones will have like SD cards. They can play videos or listen to music. They'll have internet connectivity, Bluetooth and everything, and they can get updates. And they're still cheaper than this. But yeah, you're going to look at it spending at least $200 for one of these. I don't even think it still powers on. I haven't turned it on in like a decade or so. I should probably give it away. But yeah, it's out of date now, so I wouldn't use that one. Leia says, your video with your son is the reason why we're going to the folk village. Nice. Yeah, it was fun. Definitely, if you go to the folk village, do everything you see. It's all fun. There isn't stuff I would say that you want to avoid there. It's all fun. They have like a section that's like a theme park with like regular modern rides, like a pirate ship ride and stuff like that. I mean, your kids will like it. It's not Korean stuff at all. Nothing in there is Korean like, but it's free. It's included in the ticket price anyway. So might as well go. But you could skip that if you just want the Korean traditional stuff. The snacks they have there are pretty good because it's not tourist heavy compared to like Everland, which is filled with tourists, but it does have tourists, but it's much fewer than you would find at other places. So they have a lot of legitimate like junk food there, which is pretty good. They have a food court. The food there is acceptable. I had it before. It's not great, but for a food court, it's okay. All the little snacks they sell are acceptable. They have a little 7-Eleven inside where you can get regular drinks if you just want like soda or something. They have tons of activities everywhere. They have shows that go on. You can pay extra money if you want to like ride a horse or something. Lots of places to take pictures. It's really big. So there's plenty of, you could spend a couple hours and walk around and not really get to do everything. They have English translations for everything, which is nice. It was just a lot of fun. I would totally go there with a family. Okay, I'm gonna stop here. Just a couple more, one more question, and then we'll go. At this point, they're basically phones. Yeah, the newest dictionaries that are coming out, they're pretty much just phones without the ability to make a phone call. And I mean, if you want that kind of thing, I would say get the smallest one that you can find, because the bigger they are, they're just weight. You really don't want to be carrying a giant brick around in your pocket. I mean, Nokia. Imagine the Nokia flip phone, having to carry that around all the time, or those 90s phones that they used to have that would radiate your entire face. Those ones, you don't want to carry that around all the time. So if you get one of those electronic dictionaries, don't look at the features, just look at the size. Size is the most important thing, and the smallest is better for those dictionaries. If I had a really tiny one, I wouldn't mind carrying it around in my pocket every day, in addition to my phone. But anything more than that, I would just skip it. It's fine for studying if you want just something to quickly look up stuff. But other than that, use your phone, use Naver Dictionary. It's free. Okay. Real quick. Okay. Heather Bell says, sorry if you've answered this a million times, but why did you decide not to live in Korea? Really quick, I can answer that. The weather and the school system. I don't want my kid to have to go through the unfair a Korean education system, and anyone who's Korean will know what I'm talking about. It's not very good environment for a child to be raised in, unless you're going to international school, in which case that's fine. The private schools in Korea are good. You can get a good education there, but then those are expensive, like $20,000, $30,000 a year per kid. So it's a lot of money. So we can't do that. And then the weather, I know I go there every year in the summer anyway, and in the winter anyway, but I wouldn't want that year round. I like the weather in Los Angeles too much to leave here permanently. So yeah, that's the biggest issues. Air quality is another one. I'm fairly sensitive to air quality more than other people. So I have to wear a mask normally on days when the air's not that good, just because it'll make my throat kind of hurt a little bit. And then, and then food. I love Korean food, but if you're in Korea and you want Korean food, that you're in the best place in the world. If you want non-Korean food in Korea, you're in the worst place in the world. Maybe not the worst place in the world. I'm sure North Korea would be worse, but as far as actually probably every country is the same. You want American food in another country, you get out of here. You're not gonna find it. But if I want a real hamburger, I'm not talking about a Korean style good hamburger, sure, but I just want a real greasy, cheesy, giant meat patty, or I want a real pizza. No, it's real. I want Mexican food in Korea. No. Best I can do is flour tortilla with sugar on top of it. You're not going to find authentic foreign food in Korea at a reasonable price. And the very few places that might have legitimate pizza, legitimate hamburger, legitimate taco, those places, they exist, far and few, and very expensive. Not anything you'd be able to afford on a regular. I did once. I wanted a pizza. I wanted a real American pizza with a friend. So we went to Itaewon, which is the foreigner centric area of Seoul. They used to have a military base there. It's now closed and they moved somewhere else. But anyway, that used to be where you would find all the foreign food before. Now you can find it anywhere, but that was the original place. And in Itaewon, I went there. They had a actual legitimate pizza place from a Korean guy who had lived abroad, I guess. He made a real pizza. It was a medium-sized pizza, real dough, nice and thick, not like the thin crust you get in Korea normally. Really nice, lots of cheese. You could see your reflection in it. Yes, that's what I want. $40. Yeah, it was over $40, and that was several years ago. Now I'm sure it's 30. There's no way it's still, an extra 10. It's 50 now, I'm sure. $40, but it was great. And the Korean friend I went with couldn't even stomach it. They're like, oh, it's too greasy for me. I need some kimchi. So yeah, it's not necessarily really affordable. And I want my $6 Domino's pickup or my Little Caesars, or my Pizza Hut or something. I want one of those in the US, or any pizza I'll take. But in Korea, it can be hard to find the stuff you really want. So that's another reason. Sorry, it's a long answer. Okay, Judy. Oh, thanks, Judy. Oh, and thank you also again to Muku today. Let's see how much. Oh, $5. Nice. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for coming to my lesson, and I will see you all again next week. Oh, next week, daylight savings time. The stream's gonna start an hour earlier, later. It changes an hour. Just keep that in mind. It's gonna be an hour different. I think it's an hour earlier. I can't remember. Spring forward, fall back. So that means the time goes forward, or you set your clock for. I don't know. Anyway, it's an hour different. Thank you everyone for coming, and I will see you again next time. 그럼 다음에 또 봐. Oh wait, 그러면 다음에 또 봬요.